أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا ماكثين فيها أبدا وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا. This is Surah Kahf. And as I had mentioned earlier, this is a very important surah. Not that other surah are not important, but between them to highlight, and that's the reason most of us we recite on Friday, every Friday Surah Kahf. There must be something to it, and we must understand this. We have not been, the reason is usually we are not serious to our faith. We have to be very honest. The child starts reading ABCD, this, that, and the other, goes to school, and then after that, that's it. That's all our agenda is. But we are not very serious, number one. Number two, parents themselves do not have enough Islamic education or awareness or knowledge of Islamic history, so they cannot teach their children. So whose fault is it? I ask you one example. How many of us know which particular surah Rasulullah used to recite most often? We will not be able to name maybe Surah Yasin, Surah Rahman, and 2, 3 surah like this, and that's it. That's the end. And if Rasulullah used to recite those surahs so often that the neighbor next door to Rasulullah, she used to say that I memorized this surah because Rasulullah used to recite it so often. Yeah? Then we should ask question, why is it Rasulullah used to recite so often those surah? There must be something to it. But we haven't got time to go into those details. And I would tell you one day that which surah Rasulullah used to recite very often. Try to find yourself. We should take it as a challenge. Go and what is in there that Rasulullah used to recite so frequently, so often? Surah Kahf is one of them. Kahf means ghar. Ghar is an Arabic word. Ghar, cave. So Kahf means big cave. Now Surah Kahf was revealed in Makkah. In the third phase, you remember I mentioned one day the phase of ignoring any movement or any new message, and the second is poking fun at that message or the person who brings that message, and the third stage is starting now persecuting your own family members. Why are you accepting that deen, that new religion, that new philosophy? And the fourth stage comes when persecution reaches its peak, and then it culminates even into assassination attempt. And that's what Rasulullah and the Muslims went through. So this was revealed on phase 3. That now the persecution has started of the Muslims. Now this particular surah was revealed on request or on questions. Bani Israel, when you see them, they sort of a very zigzag way of doing things, they wanted to prove that Rasulullah was an impostor, was not a true prophet. Na'uz billah min zalik. So they always used to ask these questions. What are the 10 commandments? Can you just ask? Arabs had no clue about the 10 commandments. It's the Christians who had. It's the Bani Israel they are after. Now look what questions they ask. The Christians and the Bani Israel, they knew very well the story of cave. As the people of cave, the story of people of cave, they knew. The Christians and the Bani Israel too. They knew the story of Prophet Moses and Khizr alayhi salam. They knew the story of Zilkarnyn. Zilkarnyn, you understand, means one with the two horns, but not physical horn. We will come back to it later. So these three stories. Number one, people of Kahf. Number two, the Musa and Khizr, alayhimus salam. And the third one is the Zilkarnyn. And they told the Arabs, go and ask Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? To expose him, Na'uz billah, that how would he know? Because Arabs did not know these things. There are certain things, even from the Christians and the Bani Israel, the Arabs knew. But these stories, they were unheard of it. So they knew that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will fail to answer this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this Surah Kahf, remember, is on demand of three questions. Who are the people of Kahf? What about the story of Moses and Khizr? And who was Zilkarnyn? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the form of Ashab, this Suratul Kahf, not only gave the answer, but turned the table on them as well, because try to show them that what exactly happened in each one case. For example, in the people of Kahf, Ashab Kahf, and not too many young people are here. I wish they would have been here. But we should teach this surah to young people in particular, because Quran attests. And you should remember that always it is the young people who are the forebearers of the flag of revolution. Always. Everywhere when the revolution comes, is the young people. Why? They have got the strength, the energy, the vigor, the warm blood. They have got the capability of doing things and implementing things. Not like people in my age group. When the blood becomes cold, we could talk, but not much of an action. These Ashab Kahf, who were they? Quran attests, إِنَّهُمْ فِتَةٌ آمَنُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ وَزِدْنَاهُمْ هُدًى. These were the few young people. Fitya, we say the young people, a band of young people group, and not too many, less than 9. So, just few, a band of few young Ashab Kahf. Not adult, big adult, not senior, not old. These were very young people. We will come back to it. What happened was, Ephesus was the name of a town in the Roman Empire. 11 centuries before Jesus Christ, that town or city, whatever you could call, was established. They used to worship, gradually they started worshipping idols. You've heard the name of Diana, haven't you? So Diana was supposed to be moon goddess. That was there established in Ephesus. So they used to worship the idols. Now when Jesus Christ came and the information as his message came to that area, at that time Decius was the king, as a room, Decius. So these young people embraced that message. It sounds right. The message is right. Jesus Christ, when he came, just after that, because he didn't live long. So the message, when it came, and you could say around about the 2nd century of Isa alayhi salam, 2nd century AD, after Isa alayhi salam, the message came to this area, Ephesus. These young people, they accepted. When the Decius heard that these young people, they have become or follower of Jesus Christ, he asked them to come in the court, and then he threatened them that they have got 3 days to decide one way or the other. Either they give up this new religion and come back to the previous old fold, the religion of forefathers, otherwise they will be killed. So because 3 days were given, so during these 3 days they left. Flee. They ran away, these young chaps. They ran to the cave. It was a large cave. On the way, a dog accompanied. They tried to sort of get the dog out, but nevertheless, he carried on. Quran talks about the dog. وَبَاسَتٌ زَرَائِهِ بِالْوَسِيدِ. बिलवसीद ऐसे कहते हैं ना, कुत्ता जो बैठता था elbow down up to ज़मीन के ऊपर. तो that's what it means, that on the entrance of the ghar, the dog was sitting, and inside, and the sunlight used to come, but not the sunlight directly. So it is given full description here. So they slept there. And then when they woke up, then they asked each other, so how long did we sleep? So one of them said for one day, the other one said, no, part of the day we have slept. And then the other said, we feel hungry. So you should go and get the food. So they gave the silver coin to one of them, one among themselves, and said, go, but be careful, talk politely. Don't make them aware that we are here in the cave. Because they are scared. They thought only yesterday we have come to the cave. So when he went there, that person, he asked for this food. And not only that, sorry, I forgot. They also told that make sure that the food is halal. Remember, this has got implication on our children here in this part of the world, the way we live. So, and make sure, أَيُّهَا أَسْقَى طَعَامًا فَلْيَأْتِكُمْ بِرِزْقٍ مِّنْهُ. The food which is halal, only that food, pure food he should bring. Okay. So he went. He bought food, and then he gave the money. And then the person who sold the food, he saw the money like this, he looked at him, so he has got a dafina, he has got something buried, some treasure. Look at that, this is so long coin, old coin. Where did he get it from? He must have it. So he asked, where did you get it from? And then he said, what do you mean, where did I get it from? Only yesterday, I slept, so. Till yesterday you have slept. So then they realized that these chap are crook. They are fraud. He is hiding the buried things. So he told, okay, let us go. Where are you sleeping? He didn't want, because the colleagues have told, don't let anyone be aware that we are here. So nevertheless, they followed him and then asked the police to come, and even the king was informed. So even the king came. And then after that, they went. And then they told that we have slept only yesterday. We came to the cave yesterday. He told, well, do you know the time difference? He told, no. The time difference, there is a dispute about it. Quran quotes their statement. If you read Quran, you would think that Quran is quoting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling that they lived for 309 years. Quran is quoting their statement. Someone said 50 years, someone says 100 years, the other said 309 years, and so on. Wazdadu tisa. Talata miya. There is a wazdadu tisa, and make it 9 years more. But this is their statement. We are not very sure, but it comes out round about something close to 200 years. Some scholars say 197 years, others say 200 years. Allah knows better, hardly it matters. But that long. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept on turning them in the cave right and left. Subhanallah. You know, I being a doctor, my head is around always there. Medical point of view. You know, if a person becomes old, and if you don't turn them right and left, they develop bed sore. Do you know that? Yes. I do not know whether that is right or not right, is my guess. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quotes that in the cave, he keeps on turning Yameen or Shamal, right and left. So not on once, just on the back, otherwise develop, I do not know. So then, they saw it, the people, even the king came, and then he took the blessings and barakah from those people, because then they realized that now the king and the whole kingdom has become Christian. They did not know till then. So they were very happy, but it appears that they went and lay down, and then after that, they all died. There is also a small corollary attached to it, that perhaps king wanted to let the people realize that's how the people will be resurrected. So there will be a life after death. So these persons 200 years before, they went to the cave, they slept, and there they became alive. So similarly, when we die, then obviously we will resurrect just like they resurrected as well. Corollary to it. Now here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ إِن لَّمْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَٰذَا الْحَدِيثِ أَسَفًا. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to be very grieved, very distressed. Why the people do not believe in me or believe in the message? Is there something that I'm not able to do justice? I'm not able to explain to them well? So that's the reason that he used to be very distressed, very grieved. He also used to be distressed because of his followers. They were put through persecutions and trials and tests and tribulations, and he could not do anything. He felt so helpless. He could see with his eyes that Khabbab bin Arat radiallahu anhu, the charcoal, burning charcoal, on that he has been put, and then on the top a big rock on the chest so that he cannot move away from there. He could see with his eyes his followers have been persecuted, and yet he could do nothing. So another reason for distress and grief. That's the reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is attesting that are you going to ruin yourself? Are you going to destroy yourself simply because these people are not going to be believers? You have done justice to your cause. You have taken the message and the pagham to the people, so you don't need to be that distressed. Now look what Quran says. أَمْ حَسِبْتَ أَنَّ أَصْحَابَ الْكَهْفِ وَالرَّقِيمِ كَانُوا مِنْ آيَاتِنَا عَجَبًا. Do you think that the people of the cave and the Raqim, I will come back to it, of the tablet, they were the revelations or signs very surprising? Do you think that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking. Raqim, there is a difference of opinion. Some of us Sarina scholars say Raqim is the name of the place, that place where in the Ephesus, that particular small territory, just we call Mahalla in our town. So similarly, this was a small area, that Raqim. Others usually, most of the Mufassir say, it means tablet. The tablet, just like Musa alayhi salam was given the commandments written on the tablet, takhti ke upar likha hota. That's the way on the tablet the things were written, and it was hanged at the door of that cave. When they died, it was hanged as a sort of a barakah, that these were here lies the few young people who gave themselves up or their life only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it was hanged. That is the tablet this time. Is awal fityatu, when took shelter, fitya. Fitya means young people, and that too few, no more than 10. Actually, no more than 9. Fitanu amanu bi rabbihim, they believed in their Lord, wazidnahum huda. Now Quran quotes, Fabasu ahdakum bi wariqikum hazihi. So send one of you in the cave when they got up, when they felt hungry, one of you with bi wariqikum hazihi, this silver coin, ilal madinata, to the city, falyanzur. So therefore he should be on the lookout, he should be on the watch. Ayyuha aska ta'aman, which one is the halal food, which one is the pure food, which one is the tayyib food. Only that tayyib halal food he should bring. فَلْيَاتَكُمْ بِرِزْقٍ مِّنْهِ. So with this money he should bring that halal food. وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ, be kind and be careful, be soft. وَلَا يُشَرَّنَّا بِكُمْ أَحَدًا, he should not let anyone be aware that we are here. This is Ashab Kahf. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through this story, because this is in response to who were the people of cave, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the answer, who were them. And this appears, there were few claims about it. Where is this? So some claim that it is in Turkey. In the cave is everywhere, but about Ashab Kahf. And the other claim is it is in Jordan. The likelihood, and the new researchers and historians, they go more for the people of cave in Jordan. Remember that. All right. And they are also, they've got in the tourism industries, they are now trying to make it much more popular. It is just outside Amman, where the people hire a taxi and they go there. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling that although they were young people, but they did endure with patience. So look what happened. Even up till now we know those few young people, we know up till now we are talking here in the masjid in Ramadan, the most precious time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevated their position. But you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Makkans, the kuffar, the non-believers, who would remember you? Doesn't make sense. So therefore today, for example, you are a strong But at the end of the day, just like the people of Kahf, they were winners, despite the fact there were only few, and they were threatened with death penalty. Yet tomorrow, just similarly, the Makkans, today you are strong, but tomorrow you will not exist in this position, and the believers are going to be much more better position or stronger. Now, one thing more. You know, whenever we say, okay, we will do tomorrow, and that's it. وَلَا تَقُلَنَّ لَشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا. Never say that you will do this tomorrow. إِلَّا يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ, except Allah wills. وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ إِذَا نَسِيتَ, and when you forget, then remember Allah. Because in the beginning you might forget. Let me tell you a story, you might laugh, but it is something to remember. There was a person who was going to sell ox to the market. He met another person on the way. So he told, where are you going to? He told, I'm going to sell, buy ox. He told, oh, well, okay. But I mean, you should say, Insha'Allah. He told, well, you know, this the market, the animals you could see, and I'm almost there. The thing's finished. And then he went there to the market and he chose the animal which he wanted to buy, so he bought. And now the question of money now comes. He has to give the money. He pushes his hand, no money. No money. So what's the money? Money is gone. Now he says, Insha'Allah, I will buy the ox. It's too late. Insha'Allah, he should have told then, not now when he's lost the money. So now he's telling, Insha'Allah, I will buy the ox. This is just to highlight. These are stories. We do not know whether they're fictitious, but there are lesson in it. So in other words, we should be careful and we should always say that. That's one side. Now I remember the other side, which is very common, much more than the story I told you. If I don't want to do your work, then I will say, Bukra Insha'Allah. What is this? This is very common among the Arabs. Bukra Insha'Allah. He has got no intention. He is joking. He is going to be punished. He does not realize. He is taking it lightly. Anything related to Allah, be very careful. Because what he is doing, he is joking with it. So that's what Quran says, وَلَا تَقُلُنَّ لِلشَّيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا. Should I tell you my story, what happened about this? Insha'Allah? Okay. I came here, it's a story long time ago, 1998. So there was a patient, heart patient. He was not in great shape. He had multiple conditions. So he met me in the clinic. So I had come from a place where these words you use much often, Insha'Allah and so on. I was used to. So I was just translating in English. So I told the patient that you would be fine, God willing. And perhaps during the talk, I might have repeated this word second time. I told the patient, this is what a believer is supposed to do. That Insha'Allah you will be all right. That's what I was telling him. So I was telling him, you would be fine, God willing. He turned around, he was very angry with me. He told, if God does not will, then what happens to me? Now answer, I don't need to say in words. And I had a hanging jaw, shocked and bewildered. This is what it means, that we are living in the circumstances that we forget that we don't earn rewards. Our tongue is not wet. Our tongue is not wet with always the remembrance of Allah. Insha'Allah, Subhanallah, MashaAllah. Where would you say that? Now you got it. If the God does not will, what will happen? So the answer is very straightforward. Then he won't be there. He will perish. But can you say that? Now, recently I was told, but Dr. Sahab, we have got school friends. So what can we do? And I was telling him that you have to be role model for your children. You have to have a friendship circle of the type, that's what you want your children to have. It's bizarre that I have got all type of friendship circle. They come and they visit us, I go and visit them, and I expect my son to have a sort of a buzurg friend. He's going to have a friendship circle just like you have got. So how he's going to choose his friendship circle if you didn't choose your own friendship circle right? So Quran has used so many times. I told you, use the word Khalil, Hamim, Sadiq, Walija, Wali. I mean, it just simply so many times. Rasulullah said that a person will stand up on the day of resurrection with his friend. As his friend, so he will be. If his friend is a person of a Jannah, he will be, or expected to be. There would be not 100% guaranteed, but he is expected to be. If the person, his friend is a person of a Jahannam, so what is his friend is going to be? Jannah? Come on now. That's the reason Quran says, أَفَنَجَعَلَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ. Do you think I will make the believer like a criminal or a sinner? They have got different lifestyle. They have got different priorities in their life. They live differently. They look different. You see that now? Their interests are different. Does it make sense? So, here, just remember now. وَاسْبِرْ نَفْسَ, I just translate. وَاسْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ, and keep or bear yourself with those يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ, who invoke or call on their Lord, بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ, morning and evening, يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ, seeking His countenance. Wajh actually means face. Allah ka chehra, Allah ka countenance. So seeking His countenance, seeking His pleasure. وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ, and do not take away your eyes from Him like this. So I'm looking at my friend, so do not take away your eyes like this. وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ تُرِيدَ زِينَةُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, seeking the life of this world, beauty or adornment. وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا, do not follow the person whose heart we have made heedless. Jiska dil ghaflat mein pada hua hai, heedless. An zikrana, from our remembrance. Wattaba hawahu, and he follows his own lust and desire. Wakan amruhu furota, and his affair is obviously out of bounds, beyond the limits. Did you see that now? So who we should keep friendship with? The person who calls his Lord morning and evening, the one who does not follow his lust and desire, the one who is not for worldly life adoration. All the time, if you sit down with him, I give you an example. May Allah save us from this. It was my long time ago here. So I thought I should do dawah work on a doctor who came himself to see me, and he told that I wish my children are like your children. He had a reason for that. So my children were well known among the Muslim community in the town because of their career and the marks which they were getting. So he came. I told him, okay, no problem. But I thought this is a good chance because he likes my children. So he wants his children to play with my children. So I will go and visit him. So I went and visited him. So I thought I will talk about that. He should now spend his time. So when you start, first time I'm visiting him, I didn't know him before. So he told, how many houses you have got, Dr. Saab? So I have got one house where I live. So no, I've got 3 houses or 4 houses, something he mentioned. Okay. And how many pension have you got? I told him I haven't got much of pension either on NHS. I've got 5 pensions, this, that and the other. So I went to do tabligh, he's doing tabligh on me. I started feeling small myself, that I've got only 1 house, I haven't got much of pension, he's got 5 pension. So I told, dear me, I came for something else, he has started doing his own tabligh on me. So, well, you would not believe, and I seek refuge in Allah. Remember how many pension he said? 5. I read Janaza on his dead body. He could not have utilized
Given one pension.
One pension. You are hearing from me in the masjid. He did tabligh on me. He could not use one pension. He had 5 pension. I just want to ask you and shake you up. What about the pension in the grave, man? Have we done? We will need pension in the grave. It's just the word we change. We need pension in the grave. We will need pension in the life hereafter. That's the pension you call sadqa jariyah. What else do you call sadqa jariyah? So we will need pension for the grave. We will need pension for the life hereafter. Have we worked for it? Nope. 5 pension, 30 pensions. Keep the pension in a pocket. Not even one pension you could utilize. It's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be very, very careful. Promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whatever you give, I will give the share whoever deserves in my wealth and my property. And look, what is normal? Isn't it normal that when I die, I always tell my children that I think now that I am closer to my death, I feel that I'm not very sure I am winner. Because what is going to happen after my death? I will leave some inheritance. Not a lot, some inheritance for my children. The highly likelihood is they will fight. Doesn't matter how much I have trust in them and I like them and I have trained them this, that and the other. The one who leaves money, there will be a fight. Civilized fight or a real nasty fight. The one who does not leave anything, there is nothing to fight. So the one who leaves, the chances are, now just think the ruh of my ruh will be very distressed that my children are fighting what I have left with. My ruh will be very distressed, will be very grieved, number one. Number two, even if they don't fight, what else they are going to do? So they will have now planning. Daddy left the money, so they have to go on holiday. They have to have extension of the house, refurbishment, new carpet, new kitchen units, new this, that and the other. And poor me, I have to be accountable in the grave. Does it make sense? Now in the same, as a corollary, I give you another example. A person left his garden in the way of Allah, that after my death, this is, give it in the way of Allah. So Rasulullah Sallallahu went, he was a Sahabi, so he had a date palm garden. So he visited that small garden. So his children told that my daddy, that's what he did the bequest, that after my death, this garden, you should give it in the way of Allah. There was a rotten date on the floor. You know, when the date becomes ripe, it falls from the tree. So there was a rotten date. So he took from that date and he told, I wish he would have given this garden before his death, because after his death it was not his anyway. This is no better than this. One date. One date. This whole garden is giving. One date. This whole garden is no better than this one date fall in the same place. So whatever we have to do better before our death, we do with our hands. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the two people, and it gives a beautiful description when you read it. I haven't got time. So about these two people, they are walking hand in hand, and then one is telling that, you know, I have got the garden, you could see. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the full description of the garden, a garden of grapes and surrounded by the dates, and in between the date palm trees and the grapes, between, then you have got the crop field. He gives the full description, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about that. And then this person says about the, and I don't, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me so much, and I don't think that this garden will ever perish. But then the other friend said, but why didn't you say sana to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? أَكَفَرْتَ بِالَّذِي خَلَقَكَ مِنْ تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ سَوَّاكَ رَجُلًا. Did you disbelieve in the being, in that hasti who gave you the life and fashioned you into an adult, healthy person? Why didn't you say, thank you, Allah, that you have blessed me with a garden? And then the whole, between the two, it carries on and on and on. And then the other person says, well, I hope that, and I expect that Allah will give you better than your garden. And then a storm comes and finishes, ruins the garden of that person who did not say, MashaAllah, or did not say thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The whole story, only one lesson. We should be grateful and thankful to whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. وَإِسْتَعَذَّنَ رَبَّكُمْ لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. And this is a proclamation from Allah, from your Lord, that whoever says grateful, whoever says thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will give more. I have told you before that sometimes develop the habit that just simply say, grateful to Allah, thanks to Allah. Just show your gratitude to Allah and ask nothing. You will ask me a question, where did you get it from? Okay, I told you. There was once upon a time at Umar Farooq time, there was no water, rain. So, what do you call? The Umar Farooq he went out. He went out and he did the Salatul Istasqa. And you know the Salatul Istasqa means for water, asking for water. He went there and then he did not ask in words, oh Allah, bless us with the water. He just simply, I think you remember, Surah Nuh. Surah Nuh, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ. Then Nuh alayhi salam told his people that do istighfar, and then it carries on, and then it says يُرْسَلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. You see that now? He will send the torrential rain which you need, the water, over and over, recurrent. He will send the rain. And then after that he says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you, bless you with the children. And He will also give you the garden. He will increase your wealth. So what Umar Farooq did, what he recited these three and istighfar. Similarly, you heard this, Surah Nuh, those three ayah. To do istighfar. So if you do istighfar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send the rain, will give you more children, and He will give the barakah in that, and He will give you barakah in mal. Three things. Surah Nuh, you have to remember. Similarly, Hassan Basri Rahmatullah alayh was with his students, and one person came and he asked that I do not have children. He says, go and do istighfar. Another person came. He told, there is no rain, ya Sheikh, is almost famine, qahat. So go and do istighfar. And the third person came and he said, I do not have children. He says, go and do istighfar. And then the person who was sitting there, he told, for everything istighfar. So that's what is Surah Nuh. He recited those ayah. Remember that now. Now look here now. Quran says, Al-mal wal-banun zinatul hayatud dunya. The mal and the children, both are the adornment and embellishment of this life. Wal-baqiyatus salihat. The remainder, the remaining one, the righteous deeds, that is better. That is going to remain forever, because we are going to get reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Rabbaka sawabun wa kharun amala. Sawab means reward and amal means hope, not amal from ayn, mim, lam, that is amal means deed, action, and alif, mim, lam means hope, expectation, amal, which is a very common name among the Arabs, in particular in Lebanon area. Now this you heard me. This is the word. I missed one word. It's nice that we are reading the same ayah. Quran says. Surah Kahf, remember, because you read every Friday. So today at least you will get the feel what this Surah Kahf is all about. That's the reason, because why we repeat? Because it sends shivers in our spine. It shakes us to the core. Oh, my goodness, what he's talking about. When the book means book of deeds. Book also means, kitab also means Quran, kitab also means Torah, kitab also means the book of deeds, record. So, kitab, when the book of records, or the book of deeds will be put forward, fatar al-mujrimeen, you will see the mujrim we all call sinners or criminals. You will see these criminals, mushfiqeen, they will be scared and dreaded, mimma fiye, what is in that book, that record, wa yaquluna, and they will say, ya wailatana, this is particular word I left when I was quoting, ya wailatana, woe to us, hamari badqismati, hamari kambakti, Male hazal kitab, what sort of a book is this? La yughadiru saghiratan wala kabiratan. It has not left a recording, even a small thing or a big thing. You know, because in our life usually this is too a small thing, just skip. No problem. A small, minor, bad deed or whatever you could say. But the book of deeds, it records everything, a small or big. And this is with the qawl and with the amal, with everything. And there in Surah Kahf, which Imam Sahib is reciting in Salatul Fajr for 2 days, مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ, that does not utter a word, but these scribes are willing to write down. So, if that is the case, how come a Muslim will use 4-letter word, abusive word, or foul language? How come a Muslim can use when these are recording? Does it make sense? So they will say, what sort of a book is this? Woe to us. What sort of a record is this? It has not left the small or the big things. Illa hasaha. It has enumerated. It has calculated. It has counted. وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا, and they will find whatever they have done, deeds, hazir, present there. وَلَا يَظْلَمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا, and your Lord does not do any injustice. Now here, this is the place. All of the 7 places, Adam and Hawa versus Iblis has come. 7 places, remember, in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has counted. But here is the only place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, because all the other place it gives the feeling that he was from the angels or malaika. Here explicit. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا, and when we told the angels to prostrate لِآدَمَ, for Adam, فَسَجَدُوا, they all prostrated, إِلَّا, except Iblis. Iblis didn't prostrate. كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ, he was from the jinn. So why he was counted as angels? Because he used to worship a lot of this, that and the other. So we also do the same thing. He was counted among the sort of, as if he was the angels, but he was not. Kana min al-jinn. This is the proof in Quran. Yes, we should, in this Ramadan, we should always ask, I will skip the details here, about softness in our heart. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may bless, make my heart soft. Because if someone has got a hard heart, bad news. Because nasiha does not go through it. And it has repeated over and over again. Now about Musa and Khizr. You know the whole story. Musa alayhi salam, he was given the sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you will find him at the junction of the 2 seas or 2 waterways or 2 rivers, whatever. Yeah? So Musa alayhi salam took his young servant, you could call, and went to meet this person, under bracket Khizr alayhi salam, at the junction of the 2 rivers. It appears, the scholars have talked, that Musa alayhi salam, where he was, there is no other place other than the Blue and the White Nile. Junction of the 2, Blue Nile and the White Nile. 2 Niles we have, don't we? So Nile jo river hai, 2 hai na, blue or white. Iske junction par. That's the place where Musa alayhi salam was supposed to meet Khizr alayhi salam. So he took his servant, he went there, and then after that he stayed for a while near a rock, and then he left. Further on, and then he said, oh, Musa alayhi salam to his servant, look, I'm hungry now. I think we had enough trouble, let us eat. So he says, I forgot. And I didn't forget. Shaitan made me forget. Because I saw with my eyes the fish going, making a tunnel in the river, or in the sea you could call. I forgot there. Where? That place where near the rock we were taking rest or nap. So Musa alayhi salam said, let us go back. That's the place where I wanted. Because it appears he has been given, servant didn't know, but Musa alayhi salam has been given the sign that you go meeting place of the two rivers where you will lose your fish. He had been told to take the fish, and the fish will go making a tunnel in the river. So that's the place you will find him. So he realized, so return back. So they returned back. It is given the full detailed description. Then he comes. And then when he meets, then that's the time he says, Musa alayhi salam, فَوَجَدَ عَبْدًا مِّنْ عِبَادِنَا. So he found one of my servant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, one of our servant. آتَيْنَاهُ رَحْمَةً. We had given him the mercy, مِنْ عِنْدِنَا, from our side. وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مِنْ لَدُنَّا عِلْمًا. We have taught him a knowledge. A particular knowledge, particular ilm, which Musa alayhi salam didn't have. Musa alayhi salam was given the knowledge or education of prophethood. His job was prophethood. He was not given this ilm. What I'm going to tell you now is, this is called inner functioning of the dominion. Malakutus samawati wal arz. This is the inner functioning. So in other words, the prophets are given the information about the inner functioning. How the whole dominion, whatever is happening in the world, how does it work? The prophets are given that information. They have to. Then only they will have the ainul yaqeen. We have got iman bil ghaib. They have got iman bil ain. They have seen the truth. That makes sense. So now here look what happens then. So, قال له موسى هل اتبعك على أن تعلمني مما علمت رشدا. Can I follow you so that you could teach me what you have been taught of guidance? قال إنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا. You could never be able to tolerate or be able to or capable of doing that patience with us. وكيف تصبر على ما لم تحط به خبرا. Very understandable. How can you do patience when you are not aware of the things? When you do not know, so how can you do patience? Patience on what? قال ستجدوني إن شاء الله صابرا ولا أعصي لك أمرا. Musa alayhi salam said, Insha'Allah, God willing, you will find me patient and I will not disobey your commands. And it carries on. Then the condition Khizr alayhi salam put on the Musa alayhi salam was, فَأَنِعْ تَبَتَنِي. If you want to follow me, فَلَا تَسَلْنِي عَنْ شَيْءٍ. Then do not ask me anything. حَتَّى أُحْدِثَ لَكَ مِنْهُ ذِكْرًا. Till you are mentioned about anything. Till I mention you myself. You do not ask me any question. فَانْطَلَقَا. Then they kept on walking. حَتَّى إِذَا رَكِبَ فِي السَّفِينَةِ. Till they rode or embarked onto a boat. خَرَقَهَا. Bore a hole in that boat. قَالَ أَخْرَقْتَهَا لَتُغْرِقَ أَهْلَهَا لَقَدْ جَاءَتَ شَيْئًا إِمْرًا. Did you make a hole in there to drown all the people in the boat? Certainly you have done a bad thing. Musa alayhi salam told, but he had promised that I will not ask any question. But now look what he says. قال. Khizr alayhi salam said, أَلَمْ أَقُلْ إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا. Didn't I tell you that you will not ask any question and you will not be able to keep patience with me? قال لا تؤاخذني. Do not hold me accountable. بما نسيت, because simply I have forgotten. ولا ترهقني من أمري عسرا. And do not hold me to account and be tough on me. This Musa alayhi salam said to Khizr alayhi salam. فانطلقا. Then they kept on walking. حتى إذا لقيا غلاما فقتله. When they saw a young boy, he killed him. Out of blue, nothing. He has done no wrong. He just killed him. قال قتلت نفسا زكية بغير نفس لقد جئت شيئا نكرا. Then Musa alayhi salam, he couldn't restrain. He said, I mean, how can you kill a young boy who is zakiyah, who is pure? He has done no wrong. Why did you kill him? Certainly you have done a bad thing. Nukra. قال ألم أقل لك إنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا. Again Khizr alayhi salam said, didn't I tell you that you will not be able to keep patience with me? قال إن سألتك عن شيء بعدها. If I ask you again, فلا تصاحبني, don't keep friendship or company with me, then you could part ways. قد بلغت من لدني أجرا. Certainly you have got from my side excuse, because I keep on asking question. So in our language we say bar bar teen bar. So not 2 times I've asked, this is the 3rd time I'm asking. If I ask 3rd time, finish, then you could part your ways. And then now Khizr alayhi salam says, now I'm going to give you the ta'wil, interpretation, which you didn't understand at that time. And how could you understand anyway? This is, Khizr alayhi salam is telling Musa alayhi salam, and how can you understand anyway? Because you are not aware of the things behind the curtain, the truth. So then he says, so far the boat people are concerned that I was trying to make a hole in it, because when it crosses the river, the king on the other side, he is just holding and seizing all the boats, which is absolutely fine. But when I will make a defect in the boat, then he will not take this boat. And these people are poor workers. So that's the reason. You didn't understand that much, did you? Khizr alayhi salam told Musa alayhi salam. Then he talked about the ghulam, the young boy. Why I killed him? He told, because this boy is going to be fasiq, fajir and kafir when he grows to adult, and he will create trouble for his parents. So that's the reason I wanted that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him, in exchange of this boy, better children to these parents. But can you believe what the word he is used? وَأَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. Did you understand it? Quran, each word has got a meaning. So in other words, if the parents are righteous, parents are good, it has got its effect on their children as well. Even for this world. Even for this world, of course, the world after. So if the parents are nice, if the parents are gentle, they are noble, I'm not telling his Quran says. Why it is quoted? وَأَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. And their parents were good people, righteous people, and so on. This is in relationship to the treasure which is underneath the wall. So this is second. So third, because when they went, these two, they were hungry, they passed across a village and they asked for food, they didn't give the food. They didn't maintain their hospitality. They did not entertain nasty people. Anyway, so these people hungry, they came out of the village. And when he saw a wall which was about to fall, then Khizr alayhi salam, with his own hand, he tried to correct it and he started mending, making the wall straight. And then Musa alayhi salam said, we are hungry and you are doing the job for free. Why didn't you ask the people of the people who it belongs to, so that you could get some food? He told, that's enough now. So so now you could we will part ways, and that's the now finished now between me and you, and I will tell you the interpretation which you could not keep patience with. And then he's telling Khizr alayhi salam about this, that underneath is a treasure for these two young boys who are yatim. So if the others know, they will exploit and they will take away the treasure or the wealth. So let them grow up and then they will take it out. What it tells us is, we do not understand why a young man dies. What is good for him? Maybe he is a person of Jannah. If he remains alive, maybe he will do wrong things. Because for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or for that person, the most important thing is the life hereafter. We do not know. What do we know about it anyway? So maybe a person dies young, we feel sorry. The young wife, the young boys, the children, it's not easy. But we know nothing what is good for that particular person. We only think about what is good for the wife, what is good for children, what is good for the relatives, but we do not know what is good for the person. Maybe when he was going to live a life of a fasiq, and it was forever he was going to be loser. Doesn't make sense. So similarly here, so it could be either way. So whenever these sort of things happen, we should just simply say, Allah knows. I don't want to come in between. What knowledge do we have anyway? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has tried to unfold or reveal the inner functioning of the dominion, how the things work out, and he has set 3 examples, and by those 3 examples Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has exposed Musa alayhi salam that I have given you only this knowledge for prophethood to keep on your job. You do not know the inner functioning. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the other knowledge to Khizr alayhi salam, and that's the reason Quran quotes وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. We have not given you knowledge, a little bit. But look at us, even just little bit of knowledge and we start jumping up and down. Oh, well, okay, who knows, and we know everything. What you know everything, you know nothing. Believe me, I as a medical scientist, when I tell you, you will be shocked. When I go through the RNA and DNA, it's very simple. People say RNA, DNA, everyone knows these days. No, I'm talking about inner functioning. If you go in the details of inner functioning of the RNA and DNA, it just simply mind boggles. You do not know what to say. You have got a hanging jaw, in shock and surprise, in awe. I mean, you could imagine in a person, in the body, and inside the tissue and the organ, and then you've got the cell. Inside the cell, you've got the RNA, DNA, which is so complex. And still we say this world has been just created out of nothing. That's the reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. Oh Allah, you have not created this world not for nothing. You have created for a purpose. So we should remember that. So this is about Musa and Khizr alayhi salam. And then about Zilkarnyn. I will finish in 1 or 2 minutes. Zilkarnyn, the meaning itself is the one who has got 2 horns. But actually this is about the kingdom which has got the 2 places very well known and very developed. That is Lydia and Jebal. These are the 2 sort of you could say large areas where this king ruled. Many people have thought about it. Some pointed towards Alexander the Great, which is absolutely awfully wrong. This can't be, because the way the Quran talks about a person as if he is very righteous, very good doer, Alexander the Great. So it appears that most people now, in the modern historians, they are having a consensus that it was Cyrus the Great. Cyrus, the king of the emperor of Iran. You remember the Shah Iran in 1979, 77, I don't remember now. He celebrated 2,500 years of the Cyrus, and he tried to connect himself. These kings, they do that. So that's Cyrus, because it appears that, and he is a historical person. Cyrus is not sort of a fiction. Cyrus was very nice, very kind-hearted, very just king, and he is the one who conquered even Iraq, Babylon. And Babylon, the Nudes Bashar, the Bakht Nasr, which we call in our language, Bakht Nasr king, who demolished HICC and ruined the Bani Israel, the Jews, killed many and took many as a slave to Babel. This is the Cyrus king who defeated him and conquered over that Iraq area, conquered the other areas as well. And he is the one who gave relief to the Jews. Again. So again, he is the one who built the HICC again. So they like him a lot. So that's the reason he is very well known, very popular name and king among the Jews, and of course among the Bani Israel, because this particular person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given full details. But why not only just given details, it was on demand. Who was Al-Kifl? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the full detail. I have not talked to you in detail at all. But turns the table again. He says, look at that Cyrus, that king. He was so mighty, so big. He conquered in the north, he conquered in the south, he conquered the territory in the east, in the west, where the sun did not used to set. Yet, he was so humble, showed his humility. He says, وَمَا فَعَلْتُهُ عَنْ أَمْرِي. I didn't do it myself. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's giving all credit to all the victories and all the achievements, he's giving credit to. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is turning the table on the kuffar of Quraysh, that you've got just a little bit power and then you're running around, and what do you think? Look at Cyrus, the great king, and yet he's showing his humility, his submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's not taking credit to himself, he's giving credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever has happened. So we should develop that attitude in our life as well. And then at the end, there are two ayah I will quote. The ayah which I have quoted many times. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. This is in the Surah Kahf. Every time you read in the last ruku, this is the ayah. That, O Prophet Muhammad, tell the people, who is the greatest loser? The one who kept on doing whatever kept on doing on this earth, thinking that he's doing great, he's doing good, but when he reaches Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he finds that it was not good after all. So in other words, we should have the right tasawwur deen. Deen ka sahi tasawwur, the right concept of religion. Not that we keep on doing, just like a student. Sometimes you people should not misquote me. I feel very worried. But you should try to understand why I say like this, the way I say it. A student, he keeps on in the math. In the math, he keeps on very exercise and very strongly reading all the time. It may surprise you. Math paper, when I appeared in matric, my exam, we used to have, for example, 20 questions out of 40. I did all 40 questions. I did all 40 questions. So, because really sort of well practiced in math. But what difference it makes? He will get 100% in math. Would he pass? He has left other subjects. Does it make sense? He has left other subjects. Similarly, what we do here, we pray, and we pray, and we pray, and we make it very sort of, we practice it, and well rehearsed. Okay, so you got 101%. But what about your ikhlaq, man? What about your huquq al-abad? What about your trustworthiness, your honesty, your tolerance, your forgiving attitude? Where are those? Your tongue, you've got no strict control over your tongue, man. Your etiquette, your morals, your character is nothing to be happy about. But just, chala ja raha hai ye aadmi khuda jane kahan ja raha hai, where is he going? So we have to be very careful, at least pass mark in every subject. We should be questioning ourselves. How many subjects do I have? Just like a good student? So I've got 10 subjects. I must pass in 10 subjects. Even one subject failed. So similarly, we must pass in every subject. But we have got very lopsided thinking and lopsided action. So therefore, we should ask ourselves question. Okay, in this subject, I've got 100%, man. But what about this subject, this subject, this subject, this subject? But we are not told that way. And the last is about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah is informed to tell the people that even if the whole world trees become pen and the whole ocean becomes the ink, the whole world trees become the pen and whole world ocean, remember, becomes the ink. If you want to write the praise of Allah, you won't be able to finish. Ma nafadat kalamatullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala words will not finish. So it gives inside that there is a sort of a strong link, a strong bond to our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. He's so mighty. He's so majestic. So why should I worry? I have got my Malik, my Aqa, my Rabb, my Lord. He's so powerful. And for him, فَإِنَّمَا يَزَرَّدَ شَيْئًا أَن يَقُولَ لَهُ كُنْ فَيَكُونُ. He doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't have to move his hand. He doesn't have to tell his karinda, his workers, his angels. He has to say kun and it becomes. So who is more lucky than us? Does it make sense? And it saves our young people in particular to be away from despair. I worry a lot. This is a disease very, very rampant in the West. It is going to be in our part of the world as well. Depression, anxiety, despair, frustration, and it could lead up to any level. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us. Jazakumullah khair. It was important. We could not finish in Ramadan the whole Quran, but at least you are getting some feel as to what is inside. But obviously we can't do justice, so you have to try yourself. But now I'm thinking for the next 3-4 days, whatever I have, I will try to highlight certain ayah which I think you might like it, or which is worth highlighting it. Yeah? So I will not go in continuity now. I will just choose. But I think the important thing is during this Ramadan we should sit down alone and we should ask question that no. I'm going to make a planning to learn Quran, to read it, to read translation, and I will try to have the right understanding of the deen on a large canvas. Never think a small, like a petty shopkeeper. Think like a big businessman. Does it make sense? Then you will have everything fitting in the jigsaw puzzle. If you think like a petty shopkeeper, your thinking is so limited. You think like a large businessman. Jazakumullah khair. Rabbana innana amanna faghfir lana dhunubana wa qina adhaban nar. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihil kareem. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Oh Allah, this blessed day, we are all fasting. Oh Allah, bless us with Jannah. Ya Allah, bless us with Jannah. Do not look at our weaknesses, our faults and our errors and our misguided ways. Look at your mercy which encompasses everything. Oh Rabbul Alameen, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, bless us with good children so that they really truly become sadqa jariyah for us when we die. Bless us with more and more Ramadan, Ya Rabbul Alameen. Increase our age, give us better provision, give us rizq halal. Allahumma inna nas'aluka imanan kamilan wa yaqinan sadiqan wa qalban khashiyan wa lisanan zakiran wa rizqan wasi'an wa rizqan halalan tayyiban wa tawbatan nasuhan wa tawbatan qabla al-maut wa rahatan inda al-maut wa maghfiratan wa rahmatan ba'da al-maut wal afwa inda al-hisab wal fawza bil jannah wa najah min an-nar. Allahumma nas'aluka imanan kamilan وعملا متقبلا والشفاء من كل داء يا شافي يا سلام. Oh Allah, bless us with the best of rewards that we have spent sitting here and listening to the praise of your Lord. Sallallahu ala khairi khalqi Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.